Paragraph 1. The brisk October breeze of 2025 swirled through London's bustling streets, carrying the scent of fresh croissants in commuter haste as ITV's gleaming studios in White City hummed with the pre-tape anticipation of a Monday morning edition of The Lorraine Kelly Show. The audience of around 150 devoted daytime devotees, mostly women in wool coats and woolly scarves, settling into their seats with steaming mugs and glossy magazines, buzzing about the guest list like bees in a bonfire. Lorraine Kelly, the 66-year-old Scottish sensation with her trademark bob of chestnut waves and an energy that could power the Forth Bridge, breezed onto the set in a vibrant violet shift dress that fluttered like a Highland flag, her Glasgow grit wrapped in Glasgow glamour, clipped like a claymore at her hip. Good morning, my lovelies. It's October 20th, and we're kicking off the week with wit, wisdom, and a wee bit of wonder. Welcome to Lorraine. She trilled, her accent as warm as a tatty scone, eliciting a roar of applause that rattled the exposed brick walls, joined by her co-host Christine Limpard filling in with elegant ease in a green blazer. The pair trading quips about weekend woes and weather whims before diving into the day's delights, a sneak peek at pumpkin carving pandemonium, a chat with a rising rom-com starlet, but the undisputed dazzler was Dame Judi Dench, the 90-year-old titan of thespian triumphs, wafting in from her Surrey sanctuary to unveil her latest literary labor, a sumptuous Shakespeare sonnets anthology illustrated by her own watercolor whimsies, her silver pixie cut shimmering like frost on a foxglove, attired in a timeless tweed skirt suit of forest green with a cameo brooch that evoked Elizabethan elegance, her eyes those piercing pools of pathos sparkling with the sly spark of a mischief-maker mid-plot. She glided onto the sofa with the grace of a glider gliding through Oz, security a subtle shadow, enveloping Lorraine in a hug that smelled of Earl Grey and elderflower, before perching with poise and a puckish grin. Lorraine, darling, it's a peril to be here. Your show's a siren song, luring legends into loquacious labyrinths. Judi quipped, her Yorkshire lilt laced with laughter lines earned from Othello's shadows to 007's boudoirs, drawing delighted whoops from the throng. Lorraine, leaning in with the intimacy of an old Glen gossip, launched the launch with luminous levity. Judi, you exquisite enigma at 90, you're outshining us all, from Bond's M to Macbeth's muse. This sonnet's book, Divinia spill the sonnet, what's the bard's barb that still bites deepest, the one that makes you misty-eyed over morning tea? Judi's laugh pealed like a peal of bells from the bard's own bells, recounting the rapturous reverie of rehearsing Sonnet 18 under Stratford stars, her voice a velvet vortex of vulnerability. Lorraine, it's shall I compare thee to a summer's day? A balm for the brittle bits, turning time's tyranny into timeless tease. Illustrating it, pure play, paints and poetry pirouetting like prose in a pantomime. The audience sued an orchestral ovation, Christine chiming in with a nod to her own theatrical tots. Bet your grandkids beg for bedtime sonnets. While phones fluttered like fireflies, capturing the crystalline camaraderie, the vibe of verdant valley of verbal virtuosity. Clips cued for quiet virality, the interlude idolizing the icon as impish intimate, the ether effervescent with ebullience. But as plaudits peaked and Lorraine swirled her steaming chamomile, her inquisitive instinctive forged in five fires and Fleet Street phrase flitted to frailer frontiers. Judi, your bard bond's unbreakable, but whispers of weariness, at 90, with Alzheimer's whispers and stage farewells like Lear's lament, is Shakespeare your solace or a shadow now? The nation's nursing nostalgia for your next no time to die in Korea. Retire the quill, or rally for one more royal rumble. The hush hovered, Judi's joyous jaw jutting just a jot, the studio's serenity subtly surrendering to a simmering suspense, as buoyant bardolatry beckoned the brink of bristling bard brawl. A frisson freighted the firmament as Judi's jocularity jarred, her tweed-clad torso tensing like a thespian taut for tragedy's cue, fingers fiddling the frill of her brooch as if fingering a fencer's foil. The set's subtle suggerusa from the sip of spectator smoothies to the scribble of script pages stilling to a sepulchral standoff. Christine, clairvoyant to the cusp, clapped conciliatorily with a chuckle. Judi, no pressure. Shakespeare's eternal, like your elegance. Fancy a fondue fact about your feline familiars first? But Judi, exhaling an ember of exasperation, anchored her ankles and articulated with the acuity of an Antony Sane assassin's. Christine, cats, charming. But Lorraine, solace or shadow? That's the serpent's syntax slithering into sanctity while scorning the scars. Shakespeare sustains, shadows be damned Alzheimer's, a fog, not a finally I've forgotten lines, not legacies. Encore, I'm no exhibit in your evening exhibit time etching epics while the ether endures. The assembly aspirated an asymmetric awe, a mosaic of murmurs melding matriarchal might with millennial mystique, as Lorraine's brow bridged empathy and excavation, her timbre threading the needle of nuance. Epics, hallelujah, your Hamlet haunts halls from Hampstead to Hollywood. But the fog's fable lingers, that 2023 admission of memory's mischief, the miscues in Cat's Redux. Nations nostalgic, its nurture, Judi nursing the no time to die diva back to dazzle. Rally or retire, is the quill quivering, or just questing quieter? The horde hushed in hushed harmonics, digital disciples digitizing the dialectic as #Judi on Lorraine twinkled tentatively in Twitter's twilight, the sanctum sisterhood straining at the seams of scrutiny. Judi's jowls juiced with a jot of ire, not ire but the itch of impugned immortality, her palm pressing the plinth with percussive poise. Quivering, Lorraine, your queries a querulous quagmire quibbling quirks without quizzing the quintessence of quests that quench the quiet. Fog, fleeting I've fogged through fogs fiercer than Freud's, from Bond blasts to Brexit blues. You probe like a prompter peddling pathos for panels and nostalgic, it's necrophilia for the living legend. Christine's intercession awoe, from sonnets to sonnets tings. A languished lost in the lacuna, but Lorraine leaned with levity laced in litmus. Necrophilia? Honey, it's homage I've honored hostesses from Hepburn to Hinge, but your hush, it's the hush we all hunger, the heirloom of heart. Quest quieter, or is the dame's defiance the drama we devour? The riposte resonated relentlessly now, Judi's Jeremiad on journalistic jujitsu jousting jauntily with Lorraine's on legacy's ledger. The sofa transmogrifying into a tilting tilt yard, the gallery's glow gilding the gathering gloam. Control console consternations crackled covertly, crescendo catastrophe contending with censor the surge, as the vibe veered from vivacious to vitriolic, the MP rin edging toward eruption. What welled as welcoming waltz warped to warring whirl, wounds widening a Judi's James Bond bravures and Juliet joys versus Lorraine's loquacious longevity and limelight loyalty in a discourse devolving from duet to duel, discord's decibel dialing. The teleprompter trembled in tacit terror as the tempest transuded, Judi jolting from her jaunt with the jaunty jolt of a Juliet jettisoning the scaffold, her tweed trailing like a tempest's tail, vociferation vaulting to a velvet-veined vehemence that vanquished the venue's velvet veil. Leisure, Lorraine, your ledgers and Leah larding legacies with laments while I lasso lightnings from Lair's lunacy. Defiance, it's my dominion your drama's a dime's tour dirge, dissecting the diva for daytime dross. Sonnets sustained shadows scatter salute the saga, or sup on silence. The assemblage avalanched in auroral anarchia half hymning the hierophant's helm with hallelujahs, half haranguing the host's harried hegemonia as Lorraine lurched upright too, her violet vestment vibrating like a vixen's vexation, riposte rocketing with the resonance of a rousing rand. Dross? Judi, it's daylight dynamite. I've dynamited doubts from Dundee docks to dazzle denouements without ditching the divas. Saga without scrutiny, it's stasis and sonnets. Your hush honors the hunger, but hunger's the hook we all hang on. Defiance devours, or dazzles the dawn. Christine chivied with chivalric chimea. Time out for tea, Titans. But the amplifiers amplified the apocalypse, the band's bass blanching behind barriers as the melee metastasized. Yet Judi, conflagration cresting like a cresting crevasse, commandeered a cluster of cue cards from the consolia sheaf of show scripts on seasonal sonnets and flung them flamboyantly, folios fluttering like frightened folios in a frenzy. Dawn, your dawn's a dim dawn, a dawning on delusions without delving the depths that douse despair. I'm no hook, I am the harpoon, harpooning horizons while you hawk the husk. Adieu to the autopsy. With that apoplectic apatheme, she accelerated for the aisle, adroitly dodging dazed decorators and a displaced decanter of Darjeeling, her entourage emerging from ether like ethereal escorts, the egress engulfing her in an eddy of echoes and extended arms. The egress echoed with an emphatic echo, etching through the enervated enclave, as Lorraine lingered in lamplight, telescoping tranquility with a tremulous tremor, her ensemble enveloping in empathy. "Och, that was Yorkshire whirlwind," she wisecracked weakly, wheedling wheezy whoops from the whelmed watchers, as the broadcast barreled to banal Buffersaberry bliss bites and booty boot camp blanketing the bedlam in banality, havoc hounded hectically, handlers harvesting Hydra shards, hierarchy huddling in high-stakes huddles, while Judy storms off Lorraine torched like tinderbox tinder, vignettes vaporizing into viral vortexes by vending vigil, glossies gorged by gloaming a hello. Hailing Judy's jeweled jubilee, the Mirror musing Lorraine's loquacious lunge, TMZ tallying the thespian tosses in trope-tastic timelines. By banquet's brink, bulletins bellowed, Dench's Lorraine lament, from sonnet spar to sofa scurry. Accruing acolytes akin to Skyfall screenings. Cloistered in her chipping Norton cloister, Judy jested over Jasmine with thespian kin, clips cascading on her console, a wry whoop welcoming the wild fury she sparred spry savor the sting. Lorraine, toasting with a tot of Talisker with the troupe, toasted the tumult with tenacity. Tussles tango a tumble the teacups, temper the thesp. And amid the media maelstrom, the storming sanctified to saga, another Oriataxel in the axis of affronts, where one vituperative volley vivified visions to vaulted veils, verifying that even matutinal musings can mutate to mutiny beneath the baleful blaze of broadcast's boundless bonfire.